Howdy ho, boys and girls, and welcome to a World of Tanks tutorial. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about World of Tanks and how it works, what makes it awesome, and then we'll have some gameplay with commentary on top. Pretty exciting. Alright, so first order of business here, so let's just take a quick look at our crew. This is a pretty newly purchased tank. It's pretty much been upgraded except for that little boy right there. So basically what this research button does is it lets you unlock the parts. When you start, the tank has only these parts shown up here, and as you can see, the arrows branch out to all the parts that you can unlock. Now, parts have a numerical value next to them. As you see, to unlock this tank, it would cost me 3,860 experience points, which is this silver stuff. Yeah? Experience points are unique to the tank, but some of them will always be converted into what's called free experience. Free experience can be used on any tank. So as you see, I have 1136. Now let's go over to, I don't know, let's see this tank. And as you see, I have 1136 free experience that I can spend on this tank, in addition to the 8,000 some odd experience that I have that is unique to this tank. Now, free experience is considered more valuable than normal. So if I were to unlock this radio right now, I would be using only the tank's experience because I have enough of it to cover that. The game's pretty smart, and you know, it tries to avoid having you use your free experience on things. And when, obviously, as you saw, things get a nice green border lit up around them when you can unlock them. And then sometimes things get a little complicated. Like, for example, here. This tank has been, as you see, it's got a little golden tank in the bottom. That means it's become quote-unquote elite. And what this means is that I've unlocked every single module for this tank, but I can still choose to play. As you can see, there's a little checkbox that appears here in lieu of the free experience. And this checkbox allows you to accelerate crew training, which means that this tank will not be getting any tank-specific experience. It will not be generating any free experience, but instead, all of it will go towards the training of my crew. And as you can see, they're at 83%, or the commander is. The other guys are actually at 91% proficiency. Now, how does this make sense? Well, Sergeant Flexman over here actually boosts the percentages of every single crew member. So even though they only display their percentage up to 100, there is an effective percent that goes up over 110 in reality. So yeah, that's basically how the crew training works. And once you get a crewman to 100, you can actually see, open personal file. You can also do that by right-clicking. And as you can see, you can have multiple personnel files and toggle between them. It's just like your computer interface. And you know, crew members can be transferred from tank to tank and such. But once you get them to 100%, you can choose a skill, either repairs, firefighting, or camouflage, and then they will train in that. They can have up to 3 skills, but just keep in mind that every single skill takes a certain amount of time to train. And as you can see, this crew member has a pretty good average experience per battle, you know, and the qualifications are only available once he reaches 100%, so he's not quite there. And now let's go over very quickly the crew roles. Yeah, alright, so anyways, commander, as I said, his job is to boost your crew. The gunner, he is the one who controls how fast your aiming reticle gets smaller. So as you notice over here on the right, we have a bunch of stats, yes? And some of these stats are actually affected by your crew member, but not all of them. We can actually go over here, and if we view characteristics, wait, no, that's the wrong way to do it. We want to view characteristics on this, yeah. You just right-click the gun to bring up this menu here. and as you can see, it has a 2-second aiming time. Well, that 2-second aiming time actually assumes that you have your crew maxed. So that means you have a 100% commander with a 100% gunner, and on top of that, it also assumes that you have chocolate, which can actually be right, consumables. Chocolate. Case of cola. There we go. Used to be called chocolate, my bad. But what this does is it gives plus 10% to all of your crew skills. So yeah, that basically boosts your crew even further. And all the stats that are being shown anywhere over here, or specifically the gun stats, are the ones that are the most affected. The aiming time gets affected. Your tank's acceleration gets affected, obviously. The view distance, kind of stays the same, in all honesty. That doesn't get changed. What the driver does is he doesn't increase your max speed. He increases how fast you get there. So it's like he becomes better at doing gear changes. The radio operator becomes better at doing long-range communication, so radio range actually changes. And finally, the loader does the obvious thing. He changes how fast you reload. Now, naturally, this brings up the question of, let's say we go over to the M37. Well, here we have 2 loaders. Well, what the game will actually do is it will average those 2 loaders, and that will determine your loading time for the tank. Alright, so that's what it's like. Alright, hello and welcome to the heavy tanks tutorial. In this case we're going to be using a T1 heavy, which really is not that much of a heavy at all. Heavies are actually the tanks that kind of vary the most in terms of playstyle, just because they're very specialized and it's a very delicate balance with them. Where you're trying to be the first one into the breach because you know you can take the damage, but on the other hand you really don't want to take the damage. Now in this map in particular, I'm kind of in a dangerous situation because the other team has a bunch of Stugs, which are anti-tanks, and as their name suggests, they are meant to take out tanks, specifically nice and slow heavies such as myself. The T1 heavy is probably a bad example of a heavy. I'd much rather be doing this on a KV, but you deal with what you've got. Actually, I have an ace on the Russian server that I could be doing this tutorial with, but I think the way the rules work is it's supposed to be on the US server for this tutorial, so. Anyways, as you can see, I'm kind of, pushing forward, taking charge here. And right now I have a pretty good shot on that guy, so I'm going to go ahead and take it. And if I move out forward, I could probably get another shot off on him before... Ah, damn it! Well, whatever. I got a shot off on him back. So there we go. With a heavy, they have very good accuracy and strong guns. So usually what you can do with a heavy is you can just kind of sit around a corner and zoom in. All the way, as you notice, this is maximum zoom level right here, and just kind of take shots at things. Now I just wanted to flatten that truck to get it out of my way. Right now I'm feeling like pushing up a little bit because, as you can see, we've gotten into like a little heavy stalemate here, and there's nothing to prevent me from going up forward through the mid into the breach, as I say, because I have a very nice hit point buffer, and this guy had better get out of my way. That's all I'm saying here. You teammates, get out of a heavy's way, yeah? Now I'm just gonna wait till he turns the turret, and bam. Oh. Wow. Well, that was pretty quick and destructive, wasn't it? Oh, you want to damage my tracks, boy? Do you? And we've lost a track. Alright, well then. Right now we're kind of in a bad situation because we can't move, and this guy is actually positioned quite well. As you can see, he has angled himself in relation to me, and he's putting his turret up, which is his best armored part. However, since I'm a heavy tank, and the only thing he can see of mine is my tracks, he's not actually doing that much damage. So I'm actually going to switch to an HE shot here because HE shots do guaranteed damage. And there we go. We now destroyed him with our guaranteed HE shot. And now we have a Stug 3, which means we want to get out of here. Now, this heavy in particular wants to actually come at the enemy from the front, because the side profile is so huge that, well, things are going to go poorly if you ever show them your sides. Now, as you see, our friendly base is being captured, and what I really want to do right now is I want to go back there and try and prevent that from happening, but it is not to be. And my turret swivels quite slowly. This is quite common on heavies. Mediums and other such tanks will be able to run circles around you, and you really won't be able to get anywhere in time. So even though we heavy pushed, our mediums kind of let us down, and oh well, things happen. So just to recap a little bit, as a heavy you want to kind of be towards the front, and you want to be with other heavies or with mediums that have big guns. Basically you need support. A heavy without support is a dead heavy, just because you're so slow and awkward. And this is actually one of the quote-unquote faster heavies, so it's a pretty omnipresent problem. Now, as you may notice, there's pop-ups here that said I was repaired successfully and I got some ammunition. That is because I have it on automatic resupply. You can adjust the slider any which way you want, and the game will automatically buy ammo for you. The next thing I want to go over is the depot. This is where you can sell your tanks, your modules, shells, anything at all. And then finally we have the store, where we can buy modules, buy vehicles, but I would recommend only using it for buying vehicles. Now, and the depot I only use for selling tanks and modules. Now the reason why is because there's much better interfaces. You see, right here you can just click and buy any of these, and here you can click and it'll open up your consumables, where you can buy any of the consumables. Now, and then of course module buying is very simple as well. It's right here on the bottom, and you just click on the module you want to buy and it will be bought for you. And then, as I've shown already, you can research new modules and then buy them. You can't buy a module until you've got it researched. So this engine, you see I can't click it because it says research in red text. Very useful in that sense of the word. And pretty good interface, you know, pretty standard. Finally, if you want to compare two modules, you can actually right-click on them, and they'll bring up these windows, style windows, where you can drag them around. They have an X and a close in either corner. And this has all the statistics. Just keep in mind that these statistics are with 120% crew, which means you have a 100% commander, 100% crew, which brings them to 110% because of the commander bonus. And then on top of that, you also have the consumable cola or chocolate or whatever it may be. Those are pretty race specific, so for the Germans, that consumable is chocolate. So yeah, this has been Heavy Tanks with Commie Cat.